All right. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. Greetings to my brethren of the 12 tribes of Israel scattered through the four corners of the earth through oppression and slavery, and who are now awaiting the arrival and the establishment of the kingdom of the line of the tribe of Judah, who he has said he will share with his nation, the nation of Israel. And through the nation, greetings also to those who are accounted as strangers among us, who have also received the truth of the righteousness of the Father, which is the faith of the Messiah, the line of the tribe of Judah, and by faith, through faith, are grafted in to the scattered nation. Greetings. Blessings, double blessings upon those that working in the healthcare field trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us, the humble job of picking up garbage to keep our places clean. Blessings upon those who also work in the humble job of making deliveries for us, for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver, trying to help, trying to rescue boys and girls and men and women and children and teenagers and, yes, babies from human trafficking, slavery, sex slavery, child pornography, prostitution, pedophilia, child molestation, which goes on in homes and in places all over the United States and all over the world, from top to bottom, in the millions of people. Blessings on those trying to help, and double curses upon those that participate in these disgusting industries and support them. Finally, blessings upon those that are homeless. More than 600,000 men, women, children, families on the streets today, and the numbers are growing. Millions around the world, men, women, children, babies in similar situations or worse. Blessings upon their heads from the Most High, for theirs is the kingdom, and upon those that are attempting in even the smallest ways to try to help. Greetings and blessings on those in the chat. May you and your households be blessed. Today we are continuing our study in the prophecy of Jeremiah. And the prophecy of Jeremiah, I want to remind you, the prophecy of Jeremiah from the word of the Most High, which I believe this book, this King James book, special book given to the end time people. This book is given to the end time people. It's amazing to me, this book, not only because of what words it has in it, but just the history of it. Just the history of it. See, people talk about this book and they'll say, oh, I remember when I was coming up in New York. When I was coming up in New York, some of the old heads would say, oh, that's the white man's book. They would say, this is the white man's book. You know, Christianity is the white man's religion. They were half right. In terms of the religion, they were half right. But now having read it, none of the brothers that would tell me these things had actually read the book. But actually having read it, we gain an understanding of this book. Yes, the book was translated by the Caucasians, but they did not write the book. They just received from us, from our fathers, the oracles, and they translated them into the English language of the Caucasians, Anglo-Saxons. They translated it into their language. And you say, why didn't the Most High have his people translate the book? They don't need to translate it because their language is Hebrew. And in the days of the Messiah, the common language was Greek. So it was the days of the Messiah, as outlined in this book, are translated from Greek. And all of the words that was in the Messiah's lifetime came from the ancient prophets who are Hebrew, which we get that language from our father whose name was Eber, the original Hebrew. We are descendants of Eber, which is why we are the Hebrews. But we are not just Hebrews because Eber had a lot of children. We are Hebrew Israelites because while we are descendants of Eber, the Hebrew, like Abraham was, we are also descendants of Israel. Israel was Abraham's grandson, whose name was Jacob, was changed to Israel. So we are his descendants that were placed in slavery from the tribe of one of our brothers, Judah. This book tells us all of that. And it's amazing because the whole book, all the promises of this book are based in Israel. And Israel is based in the Hebrew Messiah. The world gets the promises through us. So you say, why did he allow the Caucasian man to translate this book? You know why? Let me just explain to you. First off, because the Hebrews were scattered into slavery at the time, number one. Although the Most High at that time was preparing for the release, for the ordination, for the rising up of the Hebrews that we see today. Not only that, it also shows the love of the Most High for the heathen. You want to know, you heathen, how you going to be saved? He caused your people to translate this book, though you don't even understand it. None of y'all understand it. I'm going to say it boldly. None of you heathen understand it. You translated it, but you don't understand it. And just don't worry about it. It wasn't given for you to understand it. It was given for me and my brethren to understand it and teach it to you. So you got this book, and it is, your situation is kind of outlined in the prophecy of Isaiah. You see, that's what I say. You got to read the book. You got to read the book. In Isaiah chapter 29. Isaiah chapter 29. I'm going to start at verse 10 because this kind of explains your situation. The Most High does love other people aside from Israel. And other people, many other people are going to be saved. But you got to go according to what the book says, not according to your Greek philosophy that you stole from the Egyptians. You can't go according to the Greek philosophy that you stole from the Egyptians and the canon law that you get from Rome. You got to go according to this book if you want to be saved. Isaiah chapter 29. For Yahweh hath poured upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes, and the prophets and the rulers, the seers he hath covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. That's what happened. That's what happened to you. You see, he had your people translated so that when we get it, the Israelites, which you tried to beat us over the head with it and misrepresent it, because you would misrepresent it. You can't do any other but misrepresent it because it's not for you to know. And you took us from our own language, from our own names, right? Y'all took us into slavery and you changed our names to names like yours and you gave us your language. And then when we got your language and he caused you to break the chains off of us. That's why he had y'all fight each other in the Civil War. He had y'all fight each other so that the chains be taken off. But y'all are so stubborn, you couldn't wait to put the chains back on. But in the meantime, we learned how to read your language. We learned how to read your language. And now he gave us this book. And here we are at the end of all things. And now we are seeing in this book what we should have known all along, what the Most High was showing us all along, that his true Israelite people have been scattered among you, children of Yafet. And you had no idea what you were doing when you took us like that. And now we are awakening to who we really are. He's bringing it back to our mind as he promised in his word. And he's causing us first to receive the truth because it's to the Israelites first. And now we're understanding how we got into the slave situation. Now we're understanding where we truly come from. No, you did take us, though. You did take us from the west coast of Africa. Yes, you did. But that's not our original place. Our original place is in the promised land, in the heaven. The heaven, when I say that, the heaven, it means a mountain. It's not just in the sky. Heaven, the heaven in terms where Father Yah dwells is in the third heaven. That's the third heaven. But also the heaven is when on a high mountain. And the Bible calls that the mountains of Israel. That's where we're from. That's where we come from. That's who we really are. And although you try to hide us, you can't stop what the Most High has begun to reveal. Once the light is turned on, you can't turn it off. Can you stop the sun from rising? If you could stop the sun from rising and stop that light from hitting the earth, then you could stop the light of Yah from coming upon the minds of his people, because that's exactly what's going on. You can't stop it. And Asatan, the enemy, he's fighting extremely hard right now with all he had. He throwing the kitchen sink. First, he's trying to kill the Hebrews. We talked yesterday. I hope y'all looked in the description box yesterday and saw the link that I gave you. He's trying hard. This COVID virus that they put out in the air, it's killing mostly people in the Black and brown community, and mostly the men, and mostly those that have diabetes and high blood pressure and pre-existing conditions like heart disease that's been killing us a long time. And it's all good because the Father Yah has a protection shield upon his people that you can't get through it. And death could not stop us, as it could not stop Messiah. And so here we are. So this book here is for this time. People think, well, they hidden stuff from us. They don't need to hide something from you. You know what they need to do? Just put it in the book, and most of y'all ain't gonna read it. They don't need to take books away. What about the Apocrypha? It's garbage. All the other books are garbage. Straight garbage. Trash. This is the only one you need. Genesis to Revelation. And y'all ain't even read it. Read it. And some of y'all have begun to read it, and I praise the Most High that y'all reading. Praise the Most High that you're going through it, because those that read the book are those that want the light. And the Most High will give it to you if you seek it. He said, you will find me when you seek for me. As we're going to read in the book of Jeremiah, you're going to find me when you search for me and seek me with all your heart. Praise Yah for those who have a mind to do that. The kingdom is soon to come. I am so excited, brethren, even though at the same time I'm sad when I look around and I see our brothers and sisters getting killed in the streets, and I see the plans of the enemy against us, and I see him trying to destroy us. I'm also excited because I know it's only a few more years of this left. And I feel, and you should feel, blessed to have been brought into existence by the Creator at this time, so that you can see with your own eyes the destruction of all of this. So, you heathen, you children of Yafet and Hamites, today we're going to be talking about y'all, Jeremiah chapter 27. Oh, yeah. Jeremiah chapter 27 is going to be discussing you all. You see, brethren, it wasn't just Israelite people that have been scattered according to prophecy. As we're going to read today, Hamitic people were also scattered. Yes, Hamites were scattered as well. Let's start in the Table of Nations. Let's start in the Table of Nations of Genesis chapter 10. Let's start there. Genesis chapter 10, okay? And let's just review what we kind of already know, but it's going to be very relevant to what we're studying today in Jeremiah 27, and it's going to be very relevant to what we are, where we are right now in the earth's history. Very, very relevant. And I praise Yah, because all we have to do is keep our eyes on the word of the Most High. If we keep our eyes on the word, nothing will surprise us. Nothing will get past us. We won't be confused like the rest of the earth is confused. Beware of people that are always trying to push other books on you or try to take your eyes off of the word of the Most High. That's who you need to be careful about, or try to ridicule you because all you do is trust in the word. I remember when I was in the SDA church, and this is a true story. I was fourth generation. My great-grandfather, who I knew, my great-grandfather from Jamaica, was the first one in our family that I knew to become an SDA. And this was back in the late 1800s. then became my grandmother, then my mother, then me. And when we all became SDAs, we did it because we thought that was the only Christian denomination that was following the book. And I began as a young boy at age 12 to study the Bible. And the first time I read it through, it took me from age 12. Well, no, I started really with earnest from age 13 and to age 15. It took me 2 years. And I read it through. Didn't understand most of what I read, but I read it through. Something happened to me that stayed with me. And then later, at age 21, I come to the Most High purposefully. Then I thought he was Jesus. And I came to Jesus. And he answered me and brought me forth and to study his word more. And since then, I am now on my 19th reading of the word of the Most High. And every time I read it, I find and I learn something else. And when I was in the SDA church and I started to learn the word and get further from the SDA church because of the word, people in the church would ask me, what are you doing? Why are you putting down Ellen G. White? Don't you believe in Sister White anymore? That's what they would ask me. And I would say, no, I believe in the word of the Most High. And they were some of them were shocked when I said the Bible was above Ellen White. Believe it, some of them were shocked. Some of them were disappointed that I would say something like that. I know that sounds crazy for those of us that are Israelites and following the word, but that's the truth about it. And that church was the closest one to the Bible. It's even worse in all the other denominations. And I would say, I'm following the Bible and the Bible only because my eyes was open and I realized there was no Ellen White in the Bible. There is no Caucasian people that's supposed to be the chosen people, Israel. As I was reading in the Bible, I started to realize Messiah is a black man. I started to realize spirit of prophecy is the spirit of the Father upon his Israelite prophets. And I started uncovering lies in the SDA church. Combine that, and I saw the segregation and discrimination in the SDA church of the Caucasians there, thinking they were higher than the true Hebrews. They still do. And I could not justify staying there. And they would say then to me, if you don't follow Ellen White, or if you just think you're going to be saved following the Bible only, you're going to be lost. That's what they would tell me. Doesn't that sound perverted? You know why it sounds perverted? Because it is perverted. The Bible only, not Ellen White, not no SDA conference, not no 1888 message. It's garbage. And their sanctuary message is garbage. They're the closest one to come, but they don't know what it is. They still don't know. And they would never know. You know why? Because it's given to the Hebrews. That's why. They could know if they want to. And I'll say the same about any denomination. Anyone. If anybody in the denominations wake up and hear the truth, you won't be in a denomination no more. You can't. The Bible speaks of no Christianity. It doesn't speak of any denominations of Christianity. It doesn't. There's only one Christianity in the Bible. It's the Roman Catholic Church. And all of the other Christianity, if you know it, just ask them. You ask them. Well, when your church was founded, weren't you Protestant? You ask them. If they tell you they were Protestant, you know what that means. That means they just was protesting Rome. They never intended to leave Rome. They were just arguing with Rome about doctrines. See, there's only one. It's the Israelite nation. The Most High had ordained Israel before it even existed. He ordained it. Praise the Most High, Mark. Keep reading that word, man. You can't go wrong. So now in the table of nations, let's first start in our warming up for Jeremiah 27. Let's first start. See, this is the thing. Before I got to tell you this too. As a teacher, I've been ordained from the Most High to teach his word. And I don't care what anybody thinks about it. Somebody said, well, how do you know this? I said, ask the people that hear me teach. They'll bear witness. I don't need to prove nothing to nobody. All I do know is that I'm going to be held accountable for what's coming out of my mouth. There is a creator, and he's going to hold me accountable. And it's not about money or dollars. If I was to do this for money or dollars, let the Most High strike me down. I'm not worried about nobody's money. And it ain't because I'm rich either. It's because there's not much more time left. I know it. Not much more time left. And I'm not going to have nobody's blood on my robe. I'm not going to do it. So I got to speak the straight truth. Although one day it's going to cost me. It's going to cost me. It may cost me my life. It's definitely going to cost me prison time. I already know that. But I don't worry about that. Don't worry about none of it. Because the angel of Yahweh is more powerful than any man on the planet. Don't worry about that. Okay? And he has me speaking this truth. So I can't bother with what people think about it. I can't bother with what people disagree about it. I can't bother about that. Not much time left. What? When the building's on fire and you within the building and it's on fire, you're going to argue with somebody about what exit to get out? You're going to argue with somebody whether the building's on fire? Or you going to get out? Because that's what people do when they try to argue the Bible. It's ridiculous. Whether the earth is round or flat. I mean, who gives a crap whether the earth is round or flat? Really? Who cares? It's about to be taken over by the Most High. Who cares? Don't get caught up in these Jesuit tricks, y'all. Don't get caught up in arguing about things to no profit. It's a waste of your life force, a waste of energy. You don't have that much time. Reason it out in the word with the Spirit of the Father. He'll show you. He will never lead you astray. He is the Father of all truth. He is above all things. This earth belongs to him. And he's just allowing it to go this way for a minute until he's ready to take it over. When he rises up, first, he's going to call Messiah to stand up. He's going to call Messiah to stand up. And it's over at that point. And the Father said, it's time to go. He already actually did it in 1844. He did it as a sign. He rose up. He had Messiah rise up. It was time. And the Father said, okay, wait. And then Messiah said, wait, Father. My 144,000 are not ready yet. Father already knew that. But he just want to let everybody else know, including you and I. That's the only thing he's concerned with right now. There's nothing else on this earth he's waiting for. There's no other attention. He's not paying attention to the UN. He's not paying attention to the Pope. He's not paying attention to the president. He's not paying attention to what they're doing in laboratories. That's their business. His business is the 144,000. And no, their name is not Weinstein and Feinstein and Cohen. No, they don't come from the hills of the Caucasus Mountains. No, they don't. They come out of chains from the bottom of slave ships. That's where they come from. That's where they come from. They come out of ghettos. Political engineered, geographically and political engineered ghettos for their destruction. That's where they come from. They come from experimentation and destruction and lynching. That's where they come from. And they still here. And they ain't going nowhere. Praise the Most High. Table of Nations. Let's start first before the Table of Nations. Let's start in chapter 9 because we're going to be dealing with all of that today. Let's start at chapter 9 of Genesis. Chapter 9 of Genesis. We know the story about what happened with Noah and his son Ham. I'm going to start at verse 19 first of Genesis chapter 9, verse 19. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. So let's start right there. The whole earth that we know today, the entire population of the planet, started with Noah's three sons. Okay? Now, technically, we know everybody comes from Adam, right? But the Most High made it known to us here that although everybody comes from Adam, there was a division. And the division came when Noah had his three sons, and the whole earth was overspread. So every group of people on planet Earth, every group of nations, every continent has an origin. And the origin is one of Noah's three sons. Now, there's been a lot of mixing, but we're talking about the origin, where you started with. You can be mixed all you want, but we're talking about where you started. Everybody started with Shem, Ham, or Japheth. Everybody. The whole earth was overspread by Noah's three sons. Okay, so you are and I am a descendant originally of one of these. Okay, And they'll tell you in the word where you come from. You'll know if you want to. It's there. Okay, if you want to. But let's take a look. So from them, the whole earth was overspread. Again, I'm believing the word of the Most High. That's just me. Y'all don't have to believe it. You can go read your Quran if you want to. You can go read your Ellen White books if you want to. You can go read whatever the heck you want to read. Go read the Book of Mormon, or you go read your whatever. Okay, go read your Talmud, whatever you want to read. This is the book right here for me and my people. Okay, like Joshua, we're gonna follow this one. All right, verse 20. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. Now, you don't even need to understand what it means in terms of whatever actions were taken in seeing the nakedness of your father, because what does it mean to you is more important. To me, it means I'm not supposed to look upon my father as he's standing naked. I'm not supposed to be looking on him like that. Okay, and no, I want to just show you where that comes from. Leviticus chapter 18. Leviticus chapter 18. Leviticus chapter 18. Let's look at Leviticus 18. I'm going to start at verse 5 and read to verse 7 so that you understand what's just going on here. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am Yahweh. None of you shall approach unto any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am Yahweh. The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. You see? So you're not supposed to go to uncover the nakedness of your father or your mother. Apparently, Ham did it to uncover his father's nakedness while he was drunk in his tent. Okay? So let's go back to Genesis chapter 9. And the Most High was telling his people in Leviticus, don't do these things because the heathen nations that I'm displacing, they did these things. And I don't want you to do these things. He told his Israelite people. Okay? Now, back to Genesis chapter 9. Verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backwards, and they saw not their father's nakedness. So in order to obey, and again, the words in Leviticus 18, although that's the first time we're seeing them in the books of Moses, these brothers already knew about it. Moses was teaching the Israelites this, but it wasn't the first time it was known, obviously, right? Because the three sons of Noah understood this. So here, they went backwards to cover up their father, and at the same time not wanting to look upon his nakedness. They covered him with a covering. Okay. Verse 24. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done to him, unto him. And he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. Now I want you to also understand, Noah at this point is prophesying. He's not just speaking out of anger because he didn't say anything to Ham directly. He's prophesying at this point. And he's telling the future of the children. Okay, he's telling the future of the children at this point. And he awoke and he knew what happened. And now the spirit comes on him and he's prophesying. And he says, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, blessed be Yahweh, the Most High of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So he says again, blessed be the Most High of Shem. So Shem is prophesied to be followers of the Creator. They're descendants of Shem that are going to be followers of the Creator. Blessed be the Most High Yahweh of Shem, and Canaan shall be Shem's servant. Okay, then he continues. And the Most High shall enlarge Japhet. He didn't say Japhet would be a follower of Shem, of the God of Shem. He didn't say that. He said the Most High shall enlarge Japhet. Now, the word enlarge means exactly what you see there, to make bigger, to expand him. But it also means to entice him. He shall entice him for what? And he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So he's going to try to take over Shem. So you have now a curse upon Ham's child, Canaan. Not all of Ham's children, just Canaan. Okay? Back in the slavery days, they were saying all black people were cursed because of Ham in order to try to justify slavery. They did this for several hundred years. This is not something they just did a couple of times. And it was a falsehood. Okay? They used the Bible as a falsehood. Christianity still does. So that's not new. So he said, cursed be Canaan. And he said, he's going to be Shem's servant. And then he said, Japhet is going to be enticed and made bigger, made powerful. And he's going to try to take Shem's place. And Canaan shall be his servant too. And Canaan shall be his servant. In verse 28, and Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So Noah was 600 years old when he went into the ark, and he lived after the flood another 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. If you follow the timeline of the life of Noah when they got off the ark from just the Bible, you will see that Noah lived almost until the time of Abraham. He lived almost until that time. He died, died a few generations before Abraham. And his son, Shem, was still alive when Abraham was born. Yeah. So they could bear witness of the flood and what was before the flood. They could bear witness. There you go. Okay. Now let's look at the table of nations. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth. Again, I like to stress, whenever these three sons are mentioned, is always in this order: Shem, Ham, Japheth. And that's because that's the real order of their birth. People get all kind of confused about that by some of the other words that are spoken. But all you got to really do is look at how they are named: Shem, Ham, Japheth. Shem, Ham, Japheth. The firstborn is Shem. The youngest one is Japheth. The middle child is Ham. Okay, let's continue. The sons of Japheth: Gomer and Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tiras. These are the ones you find in the book of Revelation attacking the kingdom of Yah. These are the ones you find in Ezekiel 38 and 39 trying to come against the creator himself. These are the ones you find in Revelation chapter 19 with the beast and the false prophet. These right here. These are where you get your European nations from. Everybody of European descent, the original European descent, comes from here. This is where you come from. This is your origin. Okay? Verse 3, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rephath, and Togarmah. Why do you think they are called Ashkenazi Jews? Why do you think they call Ashkenazi Jews? Why do you think they call it Jewish? Because they come from Ashkenaz. They're not Semites at all. Okay? They are from Japhet. They call themselves Shemites because they made up a religion called Judaism. It's a made-up religion. And they'll try to tell you that ancient times this religion was practiced. This religion wasn't practiced in no ancient times. This religion didn't even come into existence until 800 years after the Messiah. 800 years later. It didn't even exist when the Messiah was here. There ain't no religion called Judaism in the Bible. And for daggone sure ain't no Talmud. Come on now. Let's be honest and real. They made this up. They can make up whatever religion they want. That's their business. But I'm just saying, don't try to confuse them with true Israelites, because they're not. They're not Semites at all. They Japhet. That's the truth from this Bible right here. Now, if you want to read another book and go get something else, go ahead and do that. But for me, this is the truth. Okay? This is the truth. Here we go. Genesis chapter 10. And I'm not trying to down them. I'm just trying to separate truth from error. Okay. Those people that are now in the state of Israel, their origin is Ashkenaz in the mountains of Europe. That's where they came from. They're not Semites. They're from Japhet. Their father is Japhet. Okay, that's their father. Our father is Shem. That's where we come from. It's just the truth. Okay, so when they say you are anti-Semitic, when you're talking against them, they, it's already a confusion. That's Babylon, because they're not Semitic. Even some of their own people. There was a woman that was a correspondent in the White House from 1958, from like when Eisenhower was president, all the way to Obama, and she was a famous correspondent, and they kept calling her anti-Semitic on television because the Ashkenazis control the media. And she said, "No, I'm not anti-Semitic." She said, "Because y'all not Semitic." She was from Lebanon, and her people are also from Japhet. Right? And she's like, but she said, "Y'all need to go home." And they kept getting upset at her and say, "Why you keep saying that?" She said, "Because this is not where you're from. You're from Europe. You need to go back to Russia and Poland, where you come from." That's what she kept saying. And they kept getting upset. And she was from Japhet, just like them. She said, "Y'all need to go back home." Because that's where they really come from. And listen, all of us come from somewhere. All of us come from somewhere. And none of us can control where we come from. If you're from Japhet, you can't control. You couldn't, you're not in space saying, "I want to be born of Ham." You can't just, you're born where you're born. You understand? None of us can control that. And the Most High does not hold it against you that you can't control where you're born. You don't have to be lost because you're European or Hamite or Shemite. All of us are where we're born. So, but my problem is when you start to lie about it. That's my problem. Because my problem is lies. I don't like lies because my Father in heaven hates lies. So to try to tell me that some people that's from the Japhet tribe are really Semitic is just fulfilling prophecy of Shem trying to take the place of Japhet trying to take the place of Shem. That's all it is. Okay? It's fake. That's what I'm trying to talk to you. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Just be real about where you're from. You're from Europe. That's where you're from. And no, the Most High's language is not Yiddish. That's not his language. That's your language, though, from the Germanic tribes. That's where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's where you're from. Here it is. Genesis chapter 10. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rephath, and Togarmah, and the sons of Yavan, Alishah, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dudanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, and after their families in their nation. So you got your Gentile coming from Europe, and they were destined to be expanded and to be powerful and to take over, and they were destined to try to take the place of Shem. And as you can see today, that's the case. The top of the pyramid on Satan's kingdom right here is Rome. Rome is from Japhet. The controllers of the money are from Japhet. The Federal Reserve was created by the children of Japhet. The people that's in charge of most of the most powerful governments on the planet are from Japhet. It's prophesied. We shouldn't be surprised at that. It's prophesied. That's a lot to do with what we're studying today in Jeremiah chapter 27. Okay, let's continue. The sons of Ham, verse 6. Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. So Ham has 4 sons. Okay, Cush, from where we get Ethiopia. Mizraim, from where you get Egypt. Put, from where you get North Africa. And Canaan, that they call the so-called Middle East. That's Canaan. Okay, here are 4 sons of Ham. Now, the people are correct when they say Ham represents the darker people. Ham is the representative of the darker people. And let's go again where they come from. Where you call Ethiopia? Where you call Egypt? Where you call North Africa? And what you call the Middle East was originally dark people. That's where they were. Just going by what the word tells us. The land of Canaan, who they call Palestine. Do you realize that the word Palestine comes from the word Philistine. Philistine? Yeah, let's keep reading. The sons of Cush, Sheba and Havilah, Sabta, Ra'amah, Saptakah, and the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba and Dedan, and Cush begot Nimrod. And he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh, and the beginning of his kingdom. See, Nimrod was the first world powerful king, come from the sons of Ham. He was an Ethiopian. Well, you would call him today an Ethiopian, and he was the most powerful man. He was actually worshipped as a god, which is why he was before Yahweh. Nimrod was a powerful brother, man. You don't want to mess with him. And it said the beginning of his kingdom, right? Because he had a kingdom. So the beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Erech and Akkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. All that's what you call today part of Iraq. Part of. But his kingdom just started there, spread throughout the whole place that you call the Middle East. That was the beginning of his kingdom. And of course, it went all the way into the land you call Africa. Because this man was a bad brother. It was under him they started learning stuff like mathematics and how to write and put words down to leave historical context. It was under him. It was under Nimrod. These brothers was tight. They still finding out stuff about patterns that were made in the desert that looked like airports. They were finding out they were doing eye surgery thousands of years ago. These brothers was advanced. Okay? That was Nimrod. But problem, of course, is that Nimrod thought that he was going to be a god. See? So he followed the devil's playbook. Man could be God. Ham was the first one to go that way. And the first most powerful nation on the planet came from Ham. Okay, so let's continue. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Okay, verse 11. And out of that land went forth Ashur and builded Nineveh and the city of Rehoboth and Calah and Rezin, and between Nineveh and Calah, the same was a great city. And Mizraim begot Ludim and Ananim and Lahabim and Naphtulim and Pathrusim, out of whom and Casluhim, out of whom came Philistine. You get the Philistine. And Caphorim, and Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Arkite, and the Shinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zamarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Children of Ham. Okay, these are children of Ham. In Canaan, what you talk about, when the Israelites came, there was his land they were taking. Remember, they talked about what? The land of Canaan. That's what they kept calling it. The land of Canaan. Canaan land. They're taking over Canaan land. Because Canaan in them was perverted, man. Canaan in them was crazy. You read Leviticus 18 and you'll see all the things them brothers was doing. There were some crazy brothers. And their land was being taken. That is why when the Most High told Abraham, your people are going to be strangers in the land that's not theirs 400 years. That was the land of Canaan. And he said, I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna take you out with great substance, because you say what? The iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. They were doing some stupidness over there. And that's why what we're reading today becomes very relevant, because you have to understand, at the time of the nation of Israel, when our fathers came and took the land of Canaan, we were surrounded by a combination of Hamites and Semites. You see, the Syrians are Semites. They're Arabs. They're not of Abraham, but they're Syrians. Matter of fact, you read some places in Deuteronomy, and one of the things that Moses tells the children of Israel to confess is that when you were found, you were a Syrian. He called them a Syrian because they were Semites. Syrians were there, Semites. Okay. Then you were surrounded by Philistine, Hamites, right? Jebusite, all of them were Hamites. All of them, Philistine, Hamites, Jebusite. They were all Hamitic peoples, dark peoples. that were originally in that land. So if you look at that land today, you will hardly find dark people. And the reason is because of the prophecy we're reading today. Now, before we get into the prophecy, I want to just share some things with you about Babylon. So we talked about Babylon as it is outlined in the book of Jeremiah. So Babylon, as we can see here from the Table of Nations, originates with Ham, the last Hamitic power. Now, we just said that the first major king on the planet Earth, the first world dominant person, was a Hamitic man named Nimrod. These were dark people. These were heavily melanated people. And they was dominating the planet. But of course, they bought into the devil's program of man as God. And so they had to be taken off the scene. But the last Hamitic king was Nebuchadnezzar. The last powerful one that the Most High favored was Nebuchadnezzar. Now, their kingdom ended up being destroyed, after we're going to see today, from his grandson, which Daniel chapter 5 brings out. His grandson was the one that ended up losing the kingdom to the Medes and the Persians. And that was the last of the Hamitic powers in terms of a world stage, in terms of their connection with the Israelites on a world powerful stage. After that point, when you get Medes and Persians all the way to now, you're dealing with the children of Japhet. The Medes are the children of Japhet. Okay? The Medes are the children of Japhet. And then after them, the Greeks. And after them, the Romans. And that's the children of Japhet. And then all of the offshoots, your English, your Germans, all of them powerful people, off of them, children of Japhet. And so the last people on the planet that's going to be alive and running things against the Most High are you children of Japhet. That's prophetic. So, being again, I want to stress, none of us can choose where we're born, but we need to find out from the word what our position is in these last days. So you so-called white people, y'all are against the Creator. You think you're with the Creator, you have a false God. You're against the Creator. The brown people, it's their God that's really the God of gods. Okay, Yahweh, that's their God. Okay, your position you're born into is a position of world dominance and power as a people that are against the Creator. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to. You can make your choice. The most powerful thing Yah gives us is choice. We could all choose. You can't choose who you're born under, but you can choose who you're going to serve. Okay, you could choose that. Okay, and you who are the children of Israel, Jacob's children, you're born into slavery. You're born into oppression. Your color, your skin is marked against you in the society in which we live. Whereas in previous civilization, color your skin didn't matter. Well, it matters now because the children of Japhet made it matter. And they're saying, when you're born, the darker you are, the worse your situation. But you don't have to choose to follow that doctrine. You can choose to follow your original God, the God of your father, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You can choose to be one with him. You children born from Ham, y'all were once rulers of the earth, but you thought you was gods and you practiced perverted things. You started human sacrifices. You don't have to continue in that tradition. You can turn to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Some of your peoples already did. Matter of fact, let me show you what the prophecy says about you in Isaiah chapter 20, Isaiah chapter 19, Isaiah 19. Let me get Isaiah chapter 19. I want to show you this, Isaiah chapter 19, because the word tells us everything. We don't have to be in darkness. The word is light. It tells us everything. Notice Isaiah chapter 19. Isaiah chapter 19. Watch now. Isaiah 19, I'm going to begin at verse. I'm going to begin, just for context, I'm going to begin at verse 19. I'm going to begin at verse 19, and I'm going to read down to verse 25. Isaiah chapter 19, from verse 19 to verse 25. Notice what it says here. In that day shall there be an altar of Yahweh in the midst of the land of Egypt, in the midst of the children of Mizraim. There shall be an altar of Yahweh in the midst of the children of Mizraim, and a pillar at the border thereof unto Yahweh, unto Yahweh. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Yahweh of hosts in the land of Mizraim. I'm saying Mizraim because that's the original name of Egypt. For they shall cry unto Yahweh because of the oppressors, the children of Mizraim shall cry unto Yahweh because of the oppressors. The last day oppressors are the children of Japhet. And shall send them a savior and a great one. And he shall send them a savior and a great one. And he shall deliver them. Who's the savior and the great one sent from the Most High Yahweh? That is Messiah, Yahweh Shah. And Yahweh shall be known in Mizraim, and the Mizraim shall know Yahweh in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto Yahweh and perform it. And Yahweh shall smite Mizraim, and he shall smite and heal it. And they shall return even to Yahweh, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. In that day there shall be a highway out of Mizraim to Assyria, and the Assyrian, remember, Nimrod controlled from there all the way to Assyria, Ashur. So he said, there's going to be a highway. You're all going to get a way out. All of you original children of Ham. Okay? And the Assyrian shall come into Mizraim, and the Mizraim into Assyria, and the Mizraim shall serve with the Assyrians. In that day shall Israel, the chosen people, be the third with Mizraim and with Assyria. Even a blessing in the midst of the land. Whom Yahweh of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Mizraim, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hand, and Israel, my inheritance. That's your future, y'all. Come on now. That's your future if you choose to take it. Hamic, you don't have to Hamites. You don't got to stay like where you are. You could be what the Most High has prophesied when the kingdom is established under the Messiah. When the kingdom is established under Messiah, the neighbors are going to be Hamitic, the close neighbors. There's going to be neighbors far and near. Okay. Somebody asked about China. I can't tell you except to know that there's nations that the Most High is going to save from afar. He says it. Okay. So all I know is who the true Israelites are and the other nations there's nations that's in ignorance, y'all. The Most High is a merciful God. Is he not? Does not the word tell us? He's merciful and gracious, slow to anger and of great mercy. There are people that there's no idea. You can't help if you're born in the middle of some Shuhan province in China. You don't know nothing better. You don't know how ignorant you are. You have no idea. You understand? And I can't judge how he's going to handle them people. That's not from, you know what I'm saying? I can't judge. All I can do is tell the children of China, the children of Asia, y'all need to serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's all I can say. You understand? That's all I can say. I don't try to talk stuff I don't know. At least I try not to. And I can't tell you what he's going to do with them, except I know he's going to save some nations that are ignorant. He's going to do that. You see, one thing I do know, the 144,000 are ordained to be priests in the kingdom. And during the 1,000-year reign, they're going to be teaching the nations about the true God. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So you might be of Chinese descent. You might be of Japanese descent. You might be of some Southeast Asian descent and don't know who you are. But I want to tell you something, though. I want to tell you something. If you go look at the Philippines, look at the Filipinos, and look at the names of some of the places, you will see ancient Hebrew in those names. You will see it. Palawan. Go look it up. Palawan and all of the names they use. You'll see, and you look at their face and their nose and some of their lips. You could tell me where they come from. They mix with Spanish. But that's how Japhet did his thing. He did this thing all over the earth. That's prophesied. But them brothers also mixed with us. They come from Shem as well. You could just look at them. You could look at the names they use. They even got a whole island. You know what the island's called? Negros. I ain't fronting. You look it up. They got a whole island, big island called Negros. And a lot of the names, you look at the names of some of them provinces, they're ancient Hebrew names. They don't even realize it. They don't know who they are. They think they're Catholic. You understand? I can tell you that. But as far as them people in China and Japan, I don't really know. I do know this, though. The Most High going to save people from afar. Yeah, he's going to save people from afar. I do know that. Okay? Do know that. And usually I can spot them Hebrews when I see them, like I seen them in Philippines. I can usually spot them. That's one right. That's Palawan. Where you get that name from? Right? And they use a lot of names like that. Ancient Hebrew type names. Okay. And in fact, the people you want to put the rest of this whole thing about the original Indians, because The original Indians is where they found the writings that we found to be ancient Hebrew. The Indian that was here in this land before the children of Yafet killed them off and tried to white them out. But originally, they found writings of ancient Hebrew among them. You don't just get that from anybody. Okay? Just telling you. So now we know who we're dealing with. Now let's go to Jeremiah chapter 27. Jeremiah chapter 27. Now we looked at 26 yesterday, and we saw Jeremiah, the Levite prophet, being sent to his brethren. That's right. Not just there. There are pyramids in Mexico. There are pyramids all up and down Central America. Panama, you find them in all of them, like man, I can't even think right now, but you find them in all of them on Costa Rica. You find them all the way there, all the way connected to what the so-called South America. Because that's what them Indians, they come from, they were the first ones kicked out, and they were practicing the same things that caused them to get kicked out. Kicked out the land first. Okay? The Northern Kingdom was kicked out 500 to 700 years, 6 centuries before this kingdom of Judah was kicked out. Spread abroad a long time. And if you notice, they're in every corner of the earth. And if you notice, those are the first ones. When the sons of Yafet, Christopher Columbus came there with that Catholic cross, they was killing off the Indians. They didn't even have to do nothing first, because just the disease they carried with them killed off the Indians. That's the truth. Then they worked them to death. Then they went and got their brethren of the southern kingdom of Judah off the west coast of Africa, because they were stouter. Y'all don't want to know. Trying to tell you how this thing really is, man. Trying to tell you what it is, bruh. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High, Yahweh. Okay? Just telling y'all what the history is. See? I could go deeper, but that's not the point of today. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 27. So now we're just looking at Judah. Now, I want to make sure we're clear on this. So whatever Nebuchadnezzar is doing, he is representing Babylon at that time, and he is also representing the future kingdom of Babylon, which is going to be ruled, which is where we live, ruled by the children of Yafet. Remember, Yafet going to try to dwell in the tents of Shem, and they're doing that right now, okay? They're doing that right now. Christianity is trying to take the place of the Israelite people. That's the truth about it. Christianity is trying to take the place of the true Israelite people. And they're doing it to such a degree that they use other children of Yafet from the Ashkenazi mountains to try to take the place of the true Israelite people. They're trying hard to just hide us, to wipe us out, to act like we don't exist. Okay, they're trying hard. They've been doing that a long time. Okay, and that's all prophesied as we see. So the ancient Babylon was the last powerful Hamitic empire, which was from Nebuchadnezzar, who ended up, as it were, becoming a converted Israelite. Yes, he did. If you look at Daniel chapter 4, you will understand the Most High had to spank the brother, and then he came to the truth. And it was his grandson that, as we're going to see here, was prophesied to be the one to lose the kingdom. Okay, and his name was Belshazzar. That was Nebuchadnezzar's grandson. And he acted the fool and brought in holy vessels into his party, disrespecting Yahweh. It was prophesied. And that ended him. That he's the one saw the writing on the wall, and it was too late. Okay, and then from that point on, all the way to now, as prophesied, the children of Yafet have been in charge of the planet Earth, and they've been controlling things, and they've been dominating the planet, and they've been the oppressors. Again, I'm not trying to tell you that all children of Yafet are going to be lost. Please don't take it that way. I baptized children of Yafet into the Israelite faith. I baptized children of Yafet into the faith of righteousness of the children of Israel, have been grafted in. I've done it multiple times. So no, I'm not trying to say all Caucasian people are lost, but as a group, as a people, as a nation of peoples, y'all got some problems. Y'all got some problems. Okay? The oppressors, the saboteurs, the regime changes, the drugs, the diseases y'all creating in your laboratories. y'all got some problems. And your leaders, most of them are lost. I guarantee most of them are lost. Okay, these leaders you put your trust in, I wouldn't do it. Of course, it's easy for me to say because I'm not of the children of Yafet. You know, the sad thing is the sellouts from among the Hamites. I mean, in the Israelites that sell out to these people, man, for temporary power. Their power is temporary. It ain't gonna last. But see, that's also, you know, go with prophecy. 10 of the 12 tribes was going to stone. It was going to stone Joshua and Caleb because they came back and told them another report than they wanted to hear. So that's also prophesying. So let's go. Jeremiah chapter 27. Let's begin at verse 1. Jeremiah 27, beginning at verse 1. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word unto Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Thus saith Yahweh to me, make thee bonds and yokes, and put them upon thy neck, and send them to the king of Edom, and to the king of Moab, and to the king of Ammonites, and to the king of Tyrus, and to the king of Zidon, by the hand of messengers which come to Jerusalem unto Zedekiah, king of Judah. So what was he prophesying? He was prophesying. He was commanded by Yahweh's spirit to send a yoke, bonds, to send a chain about that was supposed to go about the neck of prisoners, to send it to kings, and all the kings were either descendants they were Hebrews or they were Hamites. I want you to notice Moab, yes, that's Lot's son from his daughter. Lot is the nephew of Abraham, a Hebrew. Okay, so Moab was a Hebrew. He got it. The Ammonites, Moab brother, they got it. Tyrus and Zidon, those are on the coastline. Those are Canaanites of Ham. They got it. And they went and they came from the Israelite prophet who sent it to them. Okay? So all of these people, what we're going to bring out here today is that these are the original inhabitants of the land, and they are no longer there. They are no longer there. The original inhabitants of these lands are now scattered, mostly into Africa, just like us. The original inhabitants that were Moab and Ammon and Edom. See, people look at the nation of Jordan and think that those are the Edomites and the Moab. That's not them. Those are from the northern kings of Babylon and Yafet that took over and run through there. They came through. Okay? And that's why you see them look more like the Yafet than they look like the Ham. But the original people are not there now. Just like us, we're not there now. Right? The original, the people that was taken from the coast of West Africa are the original southern kingdom of Judah. We're not there now. Well, neither are our neighbors. All of us been scattered from the land. And it's been taken over by Yafet. Taken over by Yafet. Now, of course, you still got Semitic people there. But they don't know where they don't know how to. They can't even tell you their history. They can't. You think we the only ones? No. It's just that we've been scattered worse than ever because we're the chosen people. But they can't tell you the history. Go ask an Indian person from India. What's your history? They can't tell you. They can't tell you. What's your where did India begin? They don't know. They don't know. You ask somebody from Ghana. When did Ghana begin? They'll tell you 1962 or something. They don't know. And only people that really know their history now are the Japhet. Japhet will tell you where they come from. They come from those mountains in Europe. They know that. They know that. Why are they the only ones? Because it's prophesied. And they've been trying to get everybody else to be submersive, to be submerged to them. So they change everybody's name. They take over everybody's governments. They control everything through their Rome, their Christianity. And they, you believe it or not, they had the hand in developing Islam as well. Christianity came established in the 6th century, 508 AD, after it was first founded by Constantine. And then the next century came Islam from a woman. Oh yeah, you think it came from Muhammad? Muhammad couldn't read or write. His wife, his first wife of many, his first wife, Khadijah, was a Roman Catholic, a businesswoman that was older than him. She was a Roman Catholic. She taught him how to read. That's where you get Islam from. Why do you think they use rosary beads? Do you know that Islam uses rosary beads? I bet you didn't know that, huh? The Catholics use rosary beads and Islam uses rosary beads. You know why? Because they come from the same origin. 100 years later. The problem was Islam is like an experiment and the Catholics are like the scientists, and the experiment got out of control. That's what happened. The experiment got out of control and they couldn't rope it in. You know what I'm saying? Them brothers went wild with that stuff. And that's why today you see the United States sending, what do you call that? Stealth, drone power, drone. They ain't drone in China. They ain't drone in Greece. They ain't drone in Australia. Where they sending drones at? The so-called Middle East, where all the Islamic people are. Because why? They're trying to bring them under subjection. Because they fought against them with the Ottoman Empire. It's all here. Okay? So here you're seeing a representation of ancient Babylon, which is a representation now of the modern Babylon, which is led by the children of Yafet. So what you're reading here is the precursor of the scattering of the nations by Yafet. Yep. Okay, so Jeremiah chapter 27. So he sent to all of these people, beginning at verse 4, command them to say unto their masters, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, thus shall ye say to your masters, I have made the earth, the man and the beast that are upon the ground, by my great power and by my outstretched arm, and have given it to whom it seemed meet unto me. And now have I given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, my servant. So he calls him his servant because later on, Nebuchadnezzar will be a converted Israelite. And the beasts of the field have I given him also to serve him. All nations shall serve him, his son and his son's son, until the very time of his land comes. So again, he's prophesying. He said Nebuchadnezzar, his son and his son's son, which is his grandson, which is why you got Nebuchadnezzar, then his son Evil-Merodach, and then his grandson Belshazzar. That were the three generations prophesied right here. Okay. And then many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of him. So he, after Babylon be destroyed, that's it. Children of Yafet come and serve themselves of him. And it shall come to pass that the nation and kingdom which will not serve the same Babylon, the king of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I punish, saith Yahweh, with the sword and with the famine and with the pestilence, until I have consumed them by his hand. Therefore, hearken not ye to your prophets, nor to your diviners, nor to your dreamers, nor to your enchanters, nor to your sorcerers, which speak unto you, saying, ye shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you, to remove you far from your land. See, there's the scattering. And that I should drive you out, and ye should perish. But the nations that bring their necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him, those will I let remain in their own land, saith Yahweh, and they shall till it and dwell therein. I spake also to Zedekiah, the king of Judah, according to all these words, saying, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him and his people and live. Now this, what you're reading right here in Jeremiah 27:12, this is the same way Messiah was telling the Israelites, don't fight with the Romans. Why? He said, don't, this is the same way Jeremiah is saying, don't fight with the king of Nebuchadnezzar. He's going to overtake you. It's prophesied. Messiah was not arguing with the Romans. He told the people, just surrender to the Romans. Don't fight with them. It's the same principle because they were ordained to take over the land because of the wickedness of the children of Israel. See, that's what he was saying when he was like, don't fight with them, you know, pray for your leaders, because he's telling you, he was telling the Israelites, y'all gonna get taken over, surrender now. And he told his people, get out of Jerusalem. He told them, remember, he said, scatter. When you see them coming, when you see the Gentiles coming, go, because the place is gonna be destroyed. Leave, don't fight with them. But of course, the majority of our people did fight with them, and you see what happened. They got, as Messiah said, he said, wrath's gonna come on these people, talking about our fathers, and you're gonna be taken captive into all nations, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, so what Messiah was saying wasn't something new. It wasn't telling you to just turn the other cheek and let people roll on you. That's not what he was doing. I always think of Emmett Till when I see that. Emmett Till was 14 years old when people came in the middle of the night with Klan robes on and told his uncle, bring that little nigga out here, and he gave him to him. That's what Christianity teaches you to do. If it was you or me, and we know what they did to that boy when they found him in that river, we would have just went down swinging. We'd have had our gats out, and we would have had a shootout right there because they weren't going to take that boy in the middle of the night from our house. But you see what happened? We got our minds all jacked up, and they said, turn the other cheek, and they let that boy go with them, and they just destroyed him, beat him, shot him, cut out his private parts, and threw him in the river. That's what they did with him. All for looking at a Caucasian woman, joking with her. Okay? But that's what Christianity teaches. That's the turn the other cheek doctrine. That's not what Messiah was trying to teach us. That's not what he was teaching. He was telling us what Jeremiah was saying. He was saying, listen, it's ordained for them to take over. Don't fight with them. They're going to rule. Okay? They can rule, but don't let them fight. Don't let them kill you. Get out as much as you can. If they surround you and you got to fight, well, now it's time to go throw down. But and if you can avoid it, avoid it. I'm saying it's not like we trying to, and this is how they do it. Like this, listen, I'm telling you the truth, right? So if you look at Malcolm X videos of Malcolm X's interviews with several different reporters from the Children of Yafet, right? They kept saying, why you preach violence? And Malcolm X was saying he was never preaching violence. He was preaching self-defense. And so it's like, these people were trying to kill us, and if we defend ourselves, they'll say we were being violent. Just like today, when a police officer manhandles a brother and the brother's resisting, they'll say you're resisting arrest and assaulting the police officer that's killing you. So it's prophesied for them to rule, but we are supposed to try to avoid problems with them at all costs. We try to avoid problems. But when they come up on you and they leave you no choice, what you supposed to do? But the Most High gave us the wisdom through the Messiah. He said, when you see the problem coming, escape. That's why he said, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Try to avoid problems with these people. Don't get caught up in their problems, man. Try to avoid it. Don't get caught in their traps. That's the wisdom the Most High gave us. But if they come in you in the middle of the night with some garbage, click. It's time to get busy, baby. No, we're not going to just let you roll on us now. If the Most High have us die, we just die, but we're not going to let you just roll on us now. It ain't about that. See, that's what Malcolm X was trying to talk about. That's what he was preaching. And this is exactly what the word preaches. It's just that Christianity was being used to disarm us and dumb us down. Really, that's what it comes down to. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 27. Verse 12, I spake also to Zedekiah, king of Judah, according to all these words, saying, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him and his people and live. Why will ye die, thou and thy people, by the sword, by the famine, by the pestilence, saith Yahweh, has spoken against the nation that will not serve the king of Babylon. Therefore, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that speak unto you, saying, ye shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. For I have not sent them, saith Yahweh, yet they prophesy a lie in my name, that I might drive you out, that ye might perish, ye and the prophets that prophesy unto you. Isn't that what Messiah said? Many shall come in my name, saying, I am Messiah, and shall deceive many. That's Christianity. Okay, he said, be not deceived. If you read the word, you'll see the Christian doctrine, the Christian power on the earth is so strong that the words I'm speaking, if they were to hear these words and put them on MSNBC, they make me out to be some sort of devil, some sort of violent revolutionary. That's what they try to do. Okay, that's what they try to do. But the truth is, the word speaks everything I'm telling you. I'm not telling you nothing that the word's not saying. Okay, that's what happens when you start following the word alone. You're alone. You're going to be against the world because you can't help it, because the word is against the world. Okay, let's continue. Verse 15, for I have not sent them, saith Yahweh, yet they prophesy a lie in my name, that I might drive you out, that ye might perish, ye and the prophets that prophesy with you. Also, I spake to the priests and to all this people, saying, thus saith Yahweh, hearken not to the words of your prophets that prophesy unto you, saying, behold, the vessels of Yahweh's house shall now shortly be brought again from Babylon. They prophesy a lie unto you. Hearken not unto them. Serve the king of Babylon and live. Wherefore should this city be laid waste? But if they be prophets, and if the word of Yahweh be with them, let them now make intercession to Yahweh of hosts, that the vessels which are left in the house of Yahweh and the house of the king of Judah and at Jerusalem go not to Babylon. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts concerning the pillars, and concerning the sea, and concerning the bases, concerning the residue of the vessels that remain in this city, which Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon took not, when he carried away captive Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, from Jerusalem to Babylon, and all the nobles of Judah. So apparently Nebuchadnezzar took some of the vessels, the holy vessels, from the temple, but he left some. Solomon had made a brazen piece that was like a sea. Apparently, according to the Bible, it was a beautiful piece, and he made it, and he had it oxen covering. It was part of the holy vessels, and Nebuchadnezzar left that. Of course, later on he would take it. This is what Jeremiah is warning him about. Don't think he ain't gonna come take the rest of the stuff. He coming to take it, but they didn't want to hear that. Okay, the Most High gives us warnings. When Jerusalem was destroyed, remember, the Romans came up on it and then withdrew. And that coming and withdrawing was the sign Messiah said, when you see them, get out. But when they withdrew, the stubborn and stiff-necked Israelites said, oh, they scared of us. It wasn't that. The Most High used that as a warning. They came, and then Titus and them withdrew for a second. Vespasian, I think Vespasian, he backed up. It was a warning. The wise ones that were listening to the Messiah left before they could be destroyed. But then they came back. And when they came back, they leveled the place. And they say thousands of crosses with people on them were all over the place because they were killing and torturing all the Israelites they caught, especially the men. Okay? And here they're getting warning again. He came and took some of the vessels. And Jeremiah is saying to them, he's going to come back and take the rest. Now y'all better surrender. But they were not following that. They're false prophet telling them he's scared of us. The Most High going to work on our behalf, though they worshiping Baal and all the other gods and the stars of heaven. Okay? And he said, Jeremiah said, no, they're lying to you. The Most High showing me this place being taken over. He's going to destroy it. Save yourself before it's too late. But they weren't having it. Jeremiah chapter 27. Verse 21. Yea, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, concerning the vessels that remain in the house of Yahweh and in the house of the king of Judah and of Jerusalem. They shall be carried to Babylon, and there shall they be until the day that I visit them, saith Yahweh. Then will I bring them up and restore them to this place. He's trying to tell them. Isn't that always the case, though? He tries to tell us. He's trying to warn us. He uses humble vessels like Jeremiah to warn us of his word, from his word, about what's coming. But because the powers of the earth are what they be, people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear the truth in the earth that's founded in lies. That's just the way it is. And that's why only a remnant is going to be saved. A remnant of all people. That's all. Because the rest of the folks want to stubbornly follow the one that thinks man is God. Man is not God. He cannot give you eternal life, neither can he live forever. And if it was left up to man, especially the children of Yafet that run the earth right now, all of these pestilences they putting in the air, and all of these wars they're trying to start in order to just stay in power, they would have destroyed themselves off the planet many generations ago. They would have done it. And the devil would have allowed them. He gets caught up in blood. He's so crazed. He's an evil genius. That's what the devil is. And he will destroy all men off the earth himself and be left here by himself because it would have just been a game to him. But the Most High is not going to let him do that because it's his earth. And he's got his chosen here. He's not going to let him do it. Okay, that's the way this thing is going right now. All of us are just pawns on the chessboard. You got to understand that. All of us are pawns on the chessboard. Okay, and you can choose which side of the chessboard you want to be on. You could choose that. You're born on one side of the chessboard, but you don't got to remain on one side of the chessboard. You could choose. All of us are. Some of us are willing pawns for whatever side. The ones that receive the mark of the beast in their forehead or their right hand, the forehead one, those are willing pawns for the devil. In power, those are the powerful ones for the devil. The spiritual wickedness in high places, the rulers and the kings of the earth, and the most influential people in society. Those are the ones that receive the mark in their foreheads of the enemy, 666. And then the ones that receive Yah's spirit, the 144,000 in their foreheads, they're servants of the Most High God of righteousness, and they're followers of this book. And their power is in the righteous spirit of Yahweh, which is the most powerful thing on the planet. Okay, that's what you're dealing with. One group is following the creator. The other group is following man. That's how it is. And Yah says, choose you this day who you will serve. It comes down to that. Let the people decide who they want. It comes down to that. And he's already prophesied where this is coming, where it's going, and how it's going. He's showing us the whole thing. We just got to choose which script you're picking up. Which script you're reading. You got to decide. Okay? You got to decide. So there is Jeremiah chapter 27. Praise the Most High. Next, it's now 12:53 Eastern time. It's probably in Alaska time. It's 8:53 on California time. It's 9:53. If you're over there in Malaysia on the other side of the earth, it's 12:53 a.m. So we're going to stop right here and come back at 1:30 Eastern time, Washington, D.C. time, and continue and do Jeremiah chapter 28 by the grace of the Most High. May the Most High bless you and keep you and your family and cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance of light and truth upon you and give you shalom. Shalom.